Strugglers, do you remember last year when I made that video all about musical credit scenes? That was a pretty niche thing to go on about for an entire video, right? Well, we're gonna do it again today. Are you a gamer? It's okay, you can tell me. Every now and then a TV show will deviate from its normal style and tone to switch things up. A lot of shows lean into holiday-themed episodes. Sometimes a comedy will dive into something really serious. It keeps you on your toes. But the one that I've always been most intrigued by is the one-off video game-based episode. And I'm not talking about shows that are about video games necessarily, like Video Game High School. That's a show about a high school for competitive gaming, and it's awesome. There's another show called Mythic. That's about a video game development company, and I haven't actually watched it myself, but it looks decent enough. No, I am talking about shows that have nothing at all to do with video games that will randomly have an entire episode dedicated to video games. Maybe a few are coming to mind for you right now. The famous South Park World of Warcraft episode, or Fairly Odd Parents when Timmy actually goes inside the game and gets stuck in there until he beats it.
Let Aunt Gertrude pinch those chubby cheeks of yours.
I hope she means my face!
There are also some deep cuts that you might not remember at all, like Steve BLUESKYing into the computer in season 2 of Blue's Clues. No way, we're inside the computer. Maybe we're always just inside the computer. Maybe we never BLUESKY'd our way out of here. I am fascinated by these types of episodes. Do they accurately portray video games? Can they tell a compelling story, or are they just a gimmick? Why has this scene from Law & Order SVU of this guy yelling, "laughing my ass off," been burned into my memory since I was a small child?
What does that mean, LMAO? Why don't you tell us?
Laughing my ass off.
Larry's dead, Melody's dead, and you're laughing your ass off.
You're laughing your ass off. Larry's dead, Melody's dead, and you're laughing your ass off. This episode was just on the TV in the background when I was like 8 years old one time, and rewatching it now 20 years later, it's like it was yesterday. This image has been so vivid in my brain. I can't remember which cupboard in my kitchen the big glass bowl is supposed to go in, because stuff like this has been taking up space in my brain all this time. So I want to dive into this weird television trope, and what better way to do it than with my high-tech, futuristic, patented TV trope goggles. Oh no, I think I BLUESKY'd into the computer again. Oh dear, it appears that I've got myself stuck inside of a sponsor segment. Let's see how this plays out. Welcome to summer, everybody. It's good to have you here. Have you ever been standing around in sweatpants you've owned since you were a freshman in high school thinking, I really ought to spruce up my wardrobe? I certainly haven't. That'd be crazy. But if that sounds like you, then this video sponsor, Fabletics, has got you covered. Literally. Just look at some of the incredible options available to you displayed on this paid model. This guy right here is technically a professional model now. Anything is possible. I am very picky about the clothes that I wear. It's genuinely the reason that half of my closet is older than the Trolls movie franchise. But all of these Fabletics things are now officially in my daily rotation. I'm talking walks with the family. I'm talking yard work, working out, snuggling up, and editing a video for 20 hours straight. All of the good stuff. It is just pure comfort no matter what I'm doing. And that pure comfort could belong to you as well. You see this shirt right here? This is Fabletics. Am I going bowling? Am I yachting in Miami? It doesn't matter. I can do whatever I want. I genuinely never treat myself to good clothing. And when I got this Fabletics stuff, I was like, is this what it's like? It's so comfortable. I felt like such a goofball for not enjoying it sooner. So here's the deal. You can get all of this stuff if you want to order it, no problem. And if you want 80% off your first order, you can sign up to be a VIP with my link in the description. On top of that already incredible deal, all of the items on the shop are up to 50% off with your membership. Plus you get an included 2-piece outfit every single month. It's also very easy to skip a month whenever you want, so there's no pressure if you need to take some time off. If you guys are interested in getting some sweet new clothes, looking fresh, feeling good, use my link for 80% off your first order when you sign up to be a new VIP. Thank you so much to Fabletics for sponsoring this video. Thank you to you guys as always for using my links when I have them. Helps me out a ton. Now let's get back to the video. Wow, what a deal. Anyway, there are a handful of shows that I've noticed this trope in over the years just off the top of my head, and the first one I want to talk about is the aforementioned Fairly Odd Parents. This was, surprisingly to me, in the first episode of this show that ever aired. Timmy is playing a VR game that he thinks isn't cool enough or immersive enough, so he wishes for a game that's more badass that he can actually go inside of. Unfortunately, his friends Chester and AJ also accidentally get sucked inside the game, and they have to play through all of the levels and beat the game in order to escape. Write that down because that's going to come up a lot in this video. This episode gave me unrealistic expectations for what video games would become someday. Like, there was this Wanda coin that if you collected it, you could wish for literally anything that you wanted. That's kind of neat. Being fully immersed inside of a game world and being able to wish for literally anything you want A recipe for disaster, to be sure, but neat nonetheless. I think we'll also come to find that the majority of episodes about video games set this unrealistic standard for what video games are. In the Kim Possible episode Virtue Ron accidentally gets sucked into a video game and he can't escape until he beats it. And I don't really know what the criteria for beating a game is in this show, because all they really do is defeat another player who's just kind of being a jerk to people in the game. So how is that considered beating the game? Like, now that this guy's defeated, can other characters and other players not beat the game? What is the criteria? What is going on here? This dude can just use unexplained magic to lock people up in cages. Rufus the Naked Mole Rat shows up and, I don't know, hacks his character into being this melee giant. Players can just willy-nilly transfer their abilities to other players and boost their skills, but there's no skill tree, really. It's never shown that somebody, like, progresses in the game. Weapons are customized and manipulated on the spot using magic, and the limitations are only your imagination, I guess. So again, just creating this sense that video games are a virtual playground with zero restrictions whatsoever. You can truly be whoever you want in here. The possibilities are endless. Except that's never actually the case in real life, and you're only able to do what the game's creator programmed into the game. And once again, I'm disappointed. I saw this episode at my grandparents' house when I was a kid, and I was so excited to get my hands on a game like this. Where is this game? I would like to check it out. I rented Amazing Island one time when I was a child for the GameCube, and in that game you could draw your own monster and then play as that monster. How cool is that? More stuff like this, please.
They got the idea from the game. Somebody's playing for real.
Oh my, it appears in this instance, instead of a player getting sucked into the game has been sucked into a player. This is from an episode of Law & Order SVU, and it's probably the first example of video games cause violence propaganda that I ever saw. It somehow managed to be a core memory for me. Life truly is out of our control.
That sequence was an Easter egg.
A what?
That's a hidden treat players can access for extra fun.
Not as old as you look.
I don't think he could have said anything that would make him sound more old, actually. Oh my gosh, is that Nathan Fielder? In this episode, a deranged killer reenacts a scene from a violent video game and kills a prostitute. And no, this isn't that episode that kicked off the whole Gamergate situation like 9 years ago.
Go home, gamer girl.
What the hell is your problem? They just can't stand women in gaming. What did they do to you? They leveled up.
That was weird as hell, huh? Something that adds this layer of uncanny valley to so many of these episodes is that the games that they're playing aren't real games. Like, this one's obviously based on Grand Theft Auto, but Grand Theft Auto wasn't gonna let them use their real game to get footage of somebody being manipulated into killing a prostitute in real life. So then the show has to create their own version of a game, and it's never a playable thing, it's just a CGI cutscene, and then people mime playing it. Poorly, I might add. Like, for example, this is from an old show on ESPN called Playmakers. What the hell is going on back here? What is this? They show the same exact clunky animation 3 different times. That's all Disney had in the budget. One animation looped 3 times. There is actually an exception to this, though. In The Boys Season 4, there's a scene from a fake fighting game that features some characters from the show, and this is about as convincing as it gets. I'm actually not entirely sure that this isn't in a real game. Like, it was created within Mortal Kombat or something special just for this show. And because I can't entirely tell, I guess my statement from earlier is null. And void, frankly. But going a step further, sometimes there actually is a real game in real life. Ooh. In season 7 of Black Mirror, there's an episode about a secret video game that's in development called Thronglets. It's an AI hive mind of sorts. A simple enough idea, it's kind of a Sims/Tamagotchi Nintendogs type thing. You take care of these little creatures, and it turns out that the creatures are sentient and they can communicate with the player. They convince the player that humanity needs to be wiped out, or it's like a, the AI overlords thing over and over again that we keep getting. And that's all whatever. But the reason that I'm bringing it up in the first place is because this is a real playable game that you can play for real right now. It's influenced by some other games that came before it, namely Creatures and Black and White, and I'll be honest, I had never heard of these until 45 seconds ago. But this is a full-on free-to-play mobile game with depth and strategy and multiple endings, and what the heck, why did they make this? They didn't need to do this. The episode is a self-contained story already. It's a very good episode of the show, and they still decided to make this dope-ass game to accompany it. Is this why my Netflix subscription keeps getting more expensive? Every 15 months like clockwork, the cost goes up. But this is a full circle moment, if you think about it. First, the characters in the shows are getting trapped within the games. Then the games entered the characters' world, and now the games have entered our world. Huh, I don't think I like where this is heading. I gotta check on my family and make sure they're okay. No. Hey! You guys okay?
Yep.
Okay. Thought maybe you got sucked into the computer. I'll go back to work.
Okay.
Sorry guys, there are obviously a lot of examples that aren't existential, so let's take a look at some of those. Another show that featured a real game that you could actually play was It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. The gang were all obsessed over a game called Techpocalypse, and this was a pretty simple free-to-play game where you could play with friends and try to survive the apocalypse. You can't access it anymore, and I couldn't find any videos online of people playing it, but the gang was pretty addicted to it on the show. It took over their real world almost immediately.
It's like when I'm doing good in the game, I'm doing good in life.
Oh, I want to make fun of you for saying that, but I kind of know what you mean.
It's like I'm thriving.
You're thriving. Yeah, I did feel that.
They start to take on the personas of their online characters, and the game takes over their lives. So the message here is that we need to be better at separating the virtual world from our real world. Message. Are we pulling messages from these now? This far into the video, I don't think I've done that once yet, but I guess we're pulling messages now. A little bit of a side note, I really like the way that this episode ends.
I ended the game, you know, that's the end. Doesn't have to be a whole big thing. Sometimes things just sort of end.
That had me giggling. Games consuming people's lives is another pretty common theme in these types of episodes. In King of the Hill, Hank gets addicted to a Grand Theft Auto type game that's based on his own life.
I didn't realize killing a man with my bare thumbs would change me so much.
I married a man, Hank, not a gamer.
There's another episode of Black Mirror where two old friends reconnect by playing a fighting game, and they certainly get addicted to it. They can't get enough of this game. That's all that happens. Nothing else takes place in this episode. It is very chill and nothing else happens. Apparently there's an episode of The Big Bang Theory where Penny gets addicted to an online game as well, and I tried to watch it. I really did, guys. I had to just skip around a bunch. I could feel my skeleton trying to escape its skin prison while watching it. So I didn't get all the way through. Apparently there's a lot of episodes of The Big Bang Theory that revolve around video games. I am not going to watch any more of them. Let's move on. There's an episode of Danny Phantom where a ghost enters an online game hoping to like gain access to the entire internet and be able to rule the world or something. Danny knows the only way he can beat this guy is if he uses his ghost powers, so he decides to get sucked into the game and he can't get out until he beats it, and we're doing it again.
Where am I? It's level 0. It's a glitch in the program.
Level 0? A glitch in the program? Do we need to bypass a firewall while we're here? I think we gotta hack the mainframe, guys. What do you think?
Good thing I upgraded my antivirus program. Hey guys, we've got the 7 silver keys to the apocalypse.
In English, please? There's a video game episode in Community, and this show was so impressive for absolutely no reason. This show has a few seasons worth of some of the most creative stuff I've ever seen on TV. This particular episode takes place almost entirely within a video game, so they had to change the whole art style of the show just for a one-off episode. They did stuff like this all the time on this show, to be fair. There was an entire claymation Christmas episode, stuff involving puppets. The parody stuff that they did was kind of unmatched at the time. The disrespect that this show had when it was on the air. How dare you? I couldn't even go to school and talk about it with my friends because nobody else watched it. How dare you? In this particular episode, all of the characters come through so perfectly just with the writing and the animation that I think even if they were all just silhouettes, it'd still be so easy to tell who is who. It's like that George Lucas meme. Have you ever seen that meme? And I think that also speaks to how well the rest of the show was made. Everybody was so perfectly distinct. Even when they're just animated sprites on the screen, it's the exact same characters as when it's live action. This episode that is completely different from everything else in the entire series feels like the exact same show still. Bravo, Community. Bravo! I think this is the ultimate example of a video game episode done well. Even if you don't have any prior knowledge of the show, if this is the only episode you watched, you'd still get a full picture of who these characters are. You'd catch on immediately. You'll learn everything you need to know in one single contained story. I highly recommend it if you somehow haven't seen it yet. And I'm going to also actively recommend you don't watch the episode of X-Files titled First Person Shooter, because what the actual F? They don't even try to visually show that they're in a video game. It's just the actors wearing different outfits. A heck of a choice. I would also like an episode based on basketball where they're just miming the whole time. No ball, no hoop, just... Whoa. At least Striking Vipers, even though it was real actors, they had cool visuals and video game physics, and that's it. Nothing else happened in that episode. So what have we learned here? We're here to learn, remember? We learned that the general message behind so many of these episodes is either video games will inject your brain with violent tendencies and make you act a fool, or video games will turn you into a lifeless zombie with no ambition. And you know the part that irritates me the most? They're kind of half right. For some people, video games absolutely can take over your life. It can be a problem. It can make people neglect their other responsibilities. I've known plenty of people that get way too sucked into video games and it negatively impacts their life. But is that more or less likely to happen with video games compared to like other hobbies that people have? I don't know. But they also can absolutely make you at the very least irritable depending on what type of game you're playing. If you watch Jakey's video about Counter-Strike, you can see that happening in real time.
I knew how I actually felt in this moment. This whole time I'm over here criticizing toxic teammates that flame you or blame you or just say mean shit for no reason. But here I was.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen you this mad, Jakey.
I was becoming just like them.
I find myself, if I'm sitting and playing video games, I don't really play them anymore. I've got kids now. But if I sit down and play a video game for just a little bit too long, I start to get kind of grumpy. So it's all about self-control and on an individual level, I guess. In terms of the shows themselves, when they have these random one-off episodes, I think it's got to be so much fun for the directors and the actors and the animators that come into play. They get to do something different for once. Like if you're doing the same formula of a show over and over, that would get really monotonous. And it's refreshing to switch things up. I do that on this channel sometimes. I'll post something that's like, why did you do that? Well, it's just because I was bored. So I dig the trope. I hope that people continue to do it, and I hope that now that I've pointed it out, you take more notice to it in the future. If you liked this video, wait till you discover the 200 other videos I've already posted. You're in for a treat. If you're currently on a channel binge of mine and you're not subscribed, maybe consider subscribing. I'm kind of close to hitting 1 million. That'd be pretty cool. But also, once you cross 1 million subscribers, there's like an expectation that I'm not really excited about. So do whatever you want, actually. And if you're interested, you can check out my new podcast. We just posted our 10th episode. Thank you so much for watching. Extra thank you to my patrons. Those listed here are in the top tier on there. You guys, let's all meet up at the local arcade. I'll bring a bunch of quarters, and one of you can order pizza. All right, I'm stretching this out way too long. I will talk to you guys again very soon. Goodbye.
People dancing in the street.